Team Delta. I'm Alan, and I'm here with Amy, Pamela and David, and we're going to talk about youth climate action and school attendance and how that relates to sustainability. Northhouse describes leadership as being either a neutral process or a moral process. He describes Machiavellian beliefs in which leaders use powers alone to achieve their goals. Then cites Burns, who argues that leaders must motivate their followers to assess their own moral values. This is one of the challenges faced by leaders in promoting sustainability, because without a global consensus, governments will not act. Greta Thunberg is a moral leader because she's guided by moral values, but she also relies on facts, using data to promote her cause. In September, she was at a US congressional hearing on climate change. Krajewski described how she passed a remark to lawmakers predicting terrible environmental consequences as global temperatures increase. She told them, "I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to the scientists. I want you to unite behind the science, and I want you to take real action." This report suggests that Greta Thunberg is captivating the attention of the masses, something that scientists have failed to achieve. Her leadership style could also be described as transformational and charismatic. Northhouse suggests that this type of leader can recognise people's values, ethics and emotions and motivate them to change their actions and behaviour. Nassim and Ram Barry describe how Greta Thunberg has inspired children around the world to miss school and demonstrate, drawing attention to her sustainability cause. Buss describes this leadership style as idealistic, in which followers themselves become leaders. However, Greta Thunberg's campaign has brought about some changes.
So, a lot of people actually downplay. So a lot of people downplay, Alan, the climate change side of things, to say that climate change doesn't exist. What's your thoughts on that?
A lot of world leaders have signed up for the Sustainable Development Goals, so there seems to be a common consensus around world leaders that, in fact, climate change is in fact real.
So Alan, is there other leaders who promote sustainability in less public ways?
Well, on the back of Thunberg's protests, Angela Merkel acknowledged these protests and stated that in July it drove them to introduce sweeping carbon emission policy changes. They noted that her biggest influence will be on the next generation of politicians and scientists. So she is a good example of a leader who has encouraged her followers to question the status quo and brought about change through creativity and innovation, which aligns with Harrison's view of transformational leadership.
With regards to using social media to get that information out into the ether, and for people to be connecting throughout the world, we also have an issue at the moment where we're looking for people and kids, especially our kids, to be off social media for periods of time. Do you think that that is one of the best ways to contact people throughout the world, or what other ways could be used that Greta Thunberg could reach out to kids, people, to show awareness of climate change?
Social media is probably one of the best methods now to attract attention to climate change, because, as you know, all kids have got a mobile phone now. They've got instant access to all these apps. So her use of social media to attract attention is very effective, and we can see that by the way it has motivated politicians to take action on climate change, in particular Angela Merkel, the changes that the German government has made to their carbon emissions.
When we talk about school attendance, it's easy to focus on the numbers, but behind those numbers are real challenges that leaders are facing every day. One of the biggest issues is high turnover. When staff come and go, It disrupts the learning environment, affects consistency, and ultimately impacts how students perform. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, concerns around reduced attendance have only grown. Education Scotland's 2023 report highlights a widening poverty-related gap in attendance, reminding us that it isn't just an educational issue, it's a societal one. Then there's the reality of limited support and resources. Many educational leaders are stretched thin, and without the right tools or backing, burnout becomes almost inevitable. We're also seeing a shift in attitudes. Some parents and students no longer view physical attendance as essential as they once did, and that cultural change is reshaping how schools operate. Add to that the complex mix of factors driving absence, disengagement, anxiety, bullying, even the simple distance from school, and it becomes clear that this problem isn't caused by just one thing. To move forward, policymakers and leaders need to look at what's working. Some schools have managed to turn their attendance rates around, and their innovative approaches could hold the key to wider change. So the big question is, how can we rethink leadership, support and culture in our schools to tackle absenteeism in a way that actually works for students, families and educators?
Do you think that people are still in the mindset of being too scared to leave the home because they don't want to get back into society again, or are they using this as an excuse?
Yeah, I know that there are some pupils that are still feeling quite anxious since the pandemic, and there's schools within North Lanarkshire that have actually tried to accommodate that by giving additional support, whether it's maybe just some days of the week coming into school to get them acclimatised to it, but there is a lot of still media pressure that's maybe making people quite anxious.
School is an important part of a child's development. It gives them social skills, self-confidence, as well as education. But schools in Scotland are currently implementing sustainable practices in their curriculum. In June 2023, the Scottish Government published its Learning for Sustainability Action Plan. So it sets out a target that by 2030, every learning setting from nursery to secondary school will be sustainable. So that means every child from the age of 3 right through 18 will have the chance to learn in an environment where sustainability is not an add-on, but it's a way of life. So learning for sustainability is about more than recycling bins or energy saving lights. It's about connecting people on the planet. So it's encouraging children and young people to explore both local and global issues and to act better for the future. By bringing together sustainable development, outdoor learning and global citizenship, it makes the curriculum relevant and it inspires and deeply connects to the challenges of our time. So that means children are being exposed to this information in depth and schools are actively promoting sustainability. One of the most exciting ways schools are putting this into practice is through eco-schools. So this empowers pupils to act on climate change right from their classrooms, whether it's reducing waste, planting trees, or leading awareness campaigns. Eco-schools can give kids and teachers a simple but powerful framework to make a positive impact. And the beauty of it is it turns learning into action and it highlights young people that their voices and choices matter. So as I've mentioned before, schools are heavily integrating sustainability into education, and schools show children that they can be leaders in their communities, stewards of their environment as well. And by 2030, Scotland schools will stand as a model of how education can truly shape a greener and fairer world. But I don't know about you guys, so it was more about asking, what do you think? Do you think there's more that schools can do to adopt greener practices in their classrooms?